Hello, welcome to Wellbeing Wednesday. Welcome back to my Wellbeing studios, and I've got some great treats today. Yes, I'm going to be talking about seaweed and how it can help keep us slim. I've got a fab new brand to introduce you to. Lots of good things. So hello everybody, nice to see you. Hi Carrie, hi Sharon, hi Amanda, Devon Creator. Hello, nice to have you with me, what a lovely community. Let's get our friends on Facebook joining us. Hopefully Facebook will be with us too today. Hello Facebook, how is everybody? And YouTube as well, big shout out to you as well. Now just to say, those of you who are brand new, I'm on 2 platforms at the moment, currently live here in my Wellbeing studios. So I'm on Instagram on Earle Me, and then I'm on Facebook on the Earle Wellbeing magazine Facebook page, which we then upload to YouTube. And we're doing it in the proper format today for YouTube. So hopefully YouTubers, you will appreciate being on that kind of screen size. So I hope it works for everybody. Don't forget, if one platform goes down, if you're watching it live, you can hop onto the other platform and vice versa. But fingers crossed. It seems quite quiet in London today. I was out for a run first thing this morning. And the streets are empty, park is quiet, I think maybe everybody's gone away, trying to go to the seaside or something, I don't know. Anyway, it's quite nice and calm. So let's hope that there are no scaffolders, there are no gardeners, there's no mowers, all of those interruptions that we've so often had before. Thank you. So this dress, you've seen me wear it before, it's a Me and M special. It's a really nice female founder-led British brand. And I checked their website earlier, they've got a massive sale on at the moment. I know Amy, hi Amy on Facebook, you'll pop the link up to Me&M, and there is a link on Linktree as well on Instagram, but they've got a big sale on, so their website's being a bit glitchy at the moment with everybody jumping onto it. But yeah, I love it. It's even got a pocket, so we do love a pocket, don't we? And it's just really cool, and a bit of a waist, unlike my Lisa Taylor voluminous tent that I was wearing earlier. I kind of lived in that over the weekend. Such a pretty design in that Beaumont organic hand blocked cotton, really lovely. Anyway, this is not Fashion Friday. No, you're gonna have to wait till Friday for that. So I'm gonna crack on and talk about something new which I really wanted to share with you, which is all about seaweed. Now, seaweed is something that I've used in cooking for a long time. You can also use it in skincare. It has so many different uses, and the best brand that I have discovered for seaweed is, it's a website called seaweedandco.co.uk. Thanks, Amy, for popping the link up. I should say a big hi to Amy. Amy's back with us. Amy will do all the links on Facebook for everything that I talk about. So, and look after the community there that's all chatting. Hi to everybody on Instagram. As you know, I can't link directly, but if you go to my main Instagram bio and you see a little bit of blurb about me, and at the bottom is this little line that says Linktree in blue. And if you click on that on Instagram, all these lovely links to podcasts and magazine features and special offers. That's where we put everything on Instagram. So Seaweed & Co. They are a really great seaweed brand specialising in seaweed. Dr. Seaweed, Dr. Craig is the guy who runs it, and I'm hoping actually to have him on my Friday 5 podcast for a bit more of an in-depth chat, because it's absolutely fascinating. And anyway, I became aware of this brand, Dr. Seaweed, Weed and Wonderful. Isn't that fun? Weed and Wonderful. And these are seaweed oils that you can use, because seaweed is just a fascinating ingredient. And when you think about it, it's completely sustainable. It's wild harvested from the sea. It doesn't need fresh water because it grows in seawater. And it's natural. It just kind of grows. It just appears. You can go and kind of forage it. And it has lots and lots of health benefits. Its key attribute really is being high in iodine. And we know that in the UK, we have very low levels of iodine. Iodine gets depleted from our soils through intensive farming. And if we're not eating lots of white fish, for example, that's high in iodine, milk contains iodine, you know, there are all these things naturally that have iodine, but if we're excluding certain food groups, or we're not eating those kinds of things every day, then our iodine levels can be low. And what iodine does, it's a really important mineral to have, because it's involved in our metabolism. It's linked to our thyroid, and you need to have good amounts of iodine to keep your metabolism boosted and working really well. And of course, if our metabolism starts to dip, that's when we start to pile on extra weight, because our metabolism isn't burning up all our calories fast enough. So it's also a really, really good flavour enhancer. Now, you've probably heard about things like monosodium glutamate, MSG in Chinese food and all of that, and that can be a problem for some people. But the glutamate part of MSG is made synthetically, but the glutamate bit is the natural substance that gives things flavour, and it's called an umami flavour. And you find it in other foods like Parmesan cheese that just bring out the best in everything. You know, a little sprinkling of Parmesan can transform the plainest dishes, and the reason is it's full of umami. Well, seaweed is the same. So I'll show you the Weed and Wonderful oils in just a moment, but just to say, this is some natural seaweed. You can get, there are literally thousands of different types of seaweed. And this is one that I've had in my cupboards for a while. You buy it in packets. You can find it in specialty supermarkets, you can find it online. This one is a brand called Atlantic Kitchen, and it's wakame. Wakame is quite a well-known version of seaweed, if you like, variety of seaweed. And this is what it looks like naturally. It looks like these kind of little dried bits of nothing, really. It's incredibly flavourful. Really, really incredibly flavourful. You just need a tiny bit. You know, if you took a little piece of this wakame, for example, and you popped it into a soup or a stew or a sauce, something like that, you would find that, you know, you were really helping to intensify and boost the flavour because of the natural glutamate that's coming from the seaweed. So with this, literally about 15 minutes ago, I popped some in a bowl with some warm water to reconstitute it, and then it turns into, you know, literally the kind of the seaweed that you might find on the beach, and you can just eat it. Really good. You can chill it, you can add it into salads, you can make seaweed salad, you can add it into soups and things. Lots of different things you can do with seaweed. I've got some recipe ideas actually online on wellbeing.com, because over the years we've written quite a lot about seaweed. So I am going to be having that a little bit later on. Also, you can find seaweed in sheets. So this is something that I got. This is a brand called Itsu, which is a sushi brand, and they do these things called crispy seaweed thins. And these are really delicious. These are sheets of nori. This is the nori seaweed. Yum. Really good, really tasty, very, very low calorie snack. This whole packet is just 24 calories, and you get that. So you could snack on these sheets, for example, you know, instead of a bag of crisps or something, you could have something that was going to be much better for you. And these are the sheets that they use to wrap around sushi. Excuse me. Kind of really moreish. Once you start eating it, you kind of want to eat more and more. So this is something I bought for my lunch. I've got a local co-op around the corner, and they do these little boxes of sushi. So these little sushi rolls, you can see that's got the nori wrapped around it, and you can make your own. It's really easy. You need to have sushi rice, which is the white, slightly sticky rice, and then these are just filled with bits of cucumber and carrot, and then obviously they've got the conventional sashimi here, and is it called the nigiri, I think, with the strips of fish on. And this is a little roll of something here, and inside it, it's got more little bits of seaweed added in. So yeah, lots you can do with it. Actually, gut health, really good. Did you know that our gut bugs love cold sushi rice? Because when that rice is cold, it creates resistant starch, and that is giving us some prebiotic goodness to feed our good gut bugs. So if you have things like cold potato salad, so you've got your starches and you let it go cold, then that gives more resistant fibre for the gut bugs, and the same with sushi and sushi rice that's gone cold. So there you go. Other ways that you can cook with sushi, there are lots of other brands. This is another one I like called Mara, and they do like seaweed sprinkles that you can sprinkle on things. This is something that I've used for a while. Little tins, you can find this increasingly in supermarkets. So you just literally just sprinkle that on, and it just transforms anything. And then what I like to do with my Weed and Wonderful is they've got these lovely oils. Okay, so this is pure Scottish seaweed, and they're based in the Outer Hebrides, which has some of the clearest waters. It's crystal clear. It's just incredible. And it's wild harvested, and then they basically add it. This one is in organic rapeseed oil. Oh, just click on Instagram because it seems to have, there we go. These sprinkles, Alison, are from a company called Mara Seaweed, M-A-R-A. So this is organic rapeseed oil, and it's got seaweed infused in it. So you can use this, you can drizzle it over veggies. I drizzle it over things like steamed broccoli, cabbage, carrots, anything, onions. And if you see in the bottom of the bottle, it's got the little seaweed flakes in there. So if you shake that up, then you get those in it. And why I'm talking about it is because we have linked up with them and they've given us a Liz Loves. Yes, they have 25% off. I think that's possibly our most generous Liz Loves ever. So thank you to Dr. Seaweed. We love that. Just put Liz Loves in capitals and you get 25% off anything on their website. Amy, I know you'll pop a link on Facebook, and you can either go on Instagram to the link on Linktree, or it's seaweedandco.co.uk, I think, and then just use Liz Loves and you get your 25% off. So this one is really good. But I also love this one. So this is smoked infused oil. I don't know how they do it. It's a little bit of magic. And inside this bottle, I wonder if you can see, you've actually got strands of seaweed. Can you see that in there? And again, it's in the organic rapeseed oil. And it says here, our oak smoked organic seaweed infused oil is a great flavour booster and benefits from seaweed's pure sea goodness. You can drizzle it over grilled fish, roast vegetables, egg dishes or dips to add a genuine mild smokiness. So it's absolutely transformational. So I am going to be using this on the barbecue. So just, when you've barbecued something, just drizzle a little bit over the top. And then really, really good if you want something extra special. This is my personal favourite. And these are the intense smoked seaweed drops. So what I've got here, bear with me, I have got, this was actually going to be my brunch. I was cooking eggs earlier, so I've got a couple of organic eggs, really simple. I've just cooked them up and it's into, I cross between kind of a scrambled egg and an omelette. And I will be having this with some smoked seaweed drops. I do love a nice bit of scrambled egg. So all you need is a few drops of this and you just pop it onto, eggs, I find it works really well if you want to make a really simple pasta dish. Then all you need is maybe some fresh egg pasta, and you can just drizzle a little bit of this through it. It's incredible. I don't know whether anybody's tried it, but it is. And it just takes something simple, like you can have a hard-boiled egg, and just put a few drops of the smoked seaweed oil on. It's really amazing. Trust me on this. You will love it. Not only is it giving great flavour, but you're getting all the goodness. They also have seaweed capsules, and these are really interesting because they're full of iodine, and it's the natural iodine that comes from seaweed. So, sometimes when we're buying supplements, and as you know, I'm not a massive fan of supplements. I would say, if you can, try and get everything from food. Well, this, of course, is food-based. It's a plant extract. So you get the iodine, but you get all the other little bits of trace minerals and things bound up in it that make it more bioavailable within the body. So really, really interesting. Anyway, I'm going to be recording a Friday 5 podcast with Dr. Seaweed. So if you want to know a bit more about the technical side of it and the nutritional benefits, and he's an amazing PhD researcher, does a lot of work into the new properties of seaweed and what they're discovering about algae and how incredibly good for us it is, then do take a listen on Friday, because I hope to have recorded that. And that will be, I'm sure, completely fascinating. But in the meantime, if you want to grab some, Weed and Wonderful, you'll see they've got all their different oils and capsules and lots of information about seaweed. If you want to go and check it out, have a look at their website. But these, I have to say, this is the deal for me, these little drops. Amazing. Anyway, thank you, Dr. Seaweed, for our 25% off. Very much loving that. Now, in addition to cooking with seaweed and eating it, I mentioned, of course, that you can rub it on the skin. And there's another great British brand that I gave a shout out to a couple of months ago called Ishka. And this, again, nice little connection, comes from the Outer Hebrides. So this is very similar. They source their seaweed from the same crystal clear waters, and they use organic ingredients to then just sort of mix it all together, and it's really lovely on the skin. It makes the skin feel really soft. And one of the things that I like particularly, we do have a Liz Loves with them, by the way. For Ishka, it's Liz Loves in capitals on the checkout, and you get 15% off your first order. So if you haven't yet checked out Ishka, this would be a good time to do it. So the invigorating body oil, let's have a little go with this one. So this has almond oil with Hebridean seaweed containing natural antioxidants and anti-aging properties. The Hebrides has some of the cleanest waters in the world, where we hand harvest seaweed to produce 100% organic ingredients for our skincare. So this has really lovely oils in there, and it just smells delicious. So let's see. Oops, that's taking the top off. This is a little spritzy thing. Very nice. Their things actually do smell really nice. They kind of smell of the sea. They've got that sort of freshness. So it's not floral, it's not musky at all. It's a really nice sort of daytime, quite zingy aroma, like being on holiday by the beach. Nice, really nice. And they've just sent me actually to try. This is one of their newer products. It's a hand and body wash. Oh, Soil Association certified, organic. And this, again, has got lots of from the Isle of Lewis, Hebridean Spa. Very good. And very, very gentle. So I've got some water here. I might try that. Actually, before I try that, what I'm going to have a go with is this, because this is their, which one is it? This one. This is a seaweed scrub. Now, I guess you could make your own. If you have your seaweed, you know, particularly if you're using wakame like this, you could whiz it up in a blender, so you pulverize it, and then you could put it with some exfoliating, maybe some sugar, because that's a very good consistency, granulated sugar. I don't eat it, I use it as a body scrub. And then put a few drops of oil on, maybe like some grapeseed oil or some almond oil, something like that, and turn that into a really nice seaweed body scrub. Anyway, these guys have taken all the hard work out and done it for us. This is the exfoliating mask, which I thought looked really interesting. It looks a bit strange. Look at that. And it's got a slightly odd texture. It's like a kind of therapeutic spa treatment. This is when you go to a spa and get kind of wrapped in seaweed wraps, and they cover you in like tin foil and wrap you up and leave you to cook on a heated blanket for a bit, so that your skin is softened with the seaweed. Oh, really nice. It's very gently exfoliating. Doesn't have any hard granules at all, so it's not going to scratch the skin. And I think the idea with this is that you actually leave it on your skin. What does it say? Leave it on, apply to clean skin, face and neck, leave for 5 or 10 minutes, then dampen the skin and massage in, rinse with clean water. So I'm not going to wait 5 or 10 minutes, I'm just going to do that quite quickly. It's got a kind of earthy smell, I have to be honest. It's kind of got that smell that you know it's going to do you some good. So let's just rinse this off. Oh yeah, it's kind of emulsifying nicely. It feels really smooth, actually. If I was using that on my face and neck, I think I'd be quite pleased with that. Yeah, nice. Oh yes, and it has interesting properties, the seaweed, in that it does, on the skin, leave the skin really soft. It's a very good ingredient, and in fact there's a whole range of beauty care, a therapy called thalassotherapy. You may have heard of it, and you find that particularly on the continent. In France they're very keen on it. Places like Brittany, they have thalassotherapy spas, and they have whole ranges built around seaweed and its properties just for smoothing the skin. Wow, I have to say, I'm impressed. Wasn't quite expecting that. Very smooth, very, very smooth. I mean, you can't tell, can you? Because it's just on the screen. But yeah, that is nice. That is seriously nice. Well done, Ishka. That was a bit of a live road test, so I wasn't quite sure how we were going to do that. But yeah, that is, yeah, impressed. Very good. And then they do various other things that you can follow. Oh, Facebook seems to have gone. Are you there, Facebook? Facebook has just sneaked off. Where are you, Facebook? Are you here? No, maybe you're not. Have they gone? Let me see. Let me see. Are you there, Facebook? Do you know, it's maddening, isn't it, how this happens, how it just stops. Let's go, where are we here? Publish live video. It's not wanting me to go live. Why is that? Why have you kicked me off Facebook? The heat has got to them. Yeah, they can't take the heat. You know what they say? If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. Well, I am in the kitchen. Right, I'm pressing live video. No, it's not playing. Well, all I can say is I sincerely hope that all the Facebook guys are hopping over to Instagram. Isn't that good that we've got both channels? So I'm going to try you one more time. Here it says live video, and doesn't seem to want to do it. That is extraordinary. Extraordinary. Hi Denby, said you're now on Instagram. Hi. Good job I said that earlier, wasn't it? You know, because they've gone. Oh. Welcome to Instagram. Now I've just got one screen to look at. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to turn my other phone off so it doesn't try and take any bandwidth away from us, because what we don't want, obviously, is any problems here, because I've still got things to talk about. So this is their marine cream, organic seaweed marine cream. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, nice and white. So we're not going to put any more brown sludge on our faces. And this is, again, it's tiny, tiny faint smell, just nice and light. Very nice and light. Very nice, actually. Very nice indeed. Nice texture. Sinks in well. Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Excellent. So let me just, before I finish with Ishka, let's have a go with this. So this is their hand and body wash. This is the newest one. And nice, isn't it, having hand and body? I'm going to use a little bit. I think it's quite concentrated. Yep, lathering up well. Oh, very well, actually. Nice. Very kind of ozonic. I don't know if you remember back in the 80s, there used to be these whole new range of fragrances that came out. I think Calvin Klein was one of the first ones, and they were called ozonic fragrances, and that's because the perfumers had created this, it was a synthetic fragrance, and it was just like the ozone. It was just like that lovely bracing sea breeze, and you can still get ozonic based fragrances. Well, that's what it smells like. It smells like that lovely bracing sea air. Talking about lovely fragrances, this was the one that I was talking about. I had some comments about it before from Beauty Pie, and this is brand new to Beauty Pie. It's mandarin leaf, white cedar and freesia, which is rather lovely, and this has just come onto their website. Rather beautiful bottle, don't you think? Really nice and classic. This, I think they say, would normally be about £120 for a fragrance of this quality and this size. I think theirs is about 12, something like that. And it's nice. It's a nice light spritz. You know me, I love my florals. I love the Neroli Nuance from Prosody. I really love the rose smells as well. But I think there's something when you're in a lot of heat and you just want to have that freshness, something that you can reapply, be quite liberal with it, almost like an eau de cologne. And this gets top marks from me. Really like that. Mandarin leaf, white cedar and freesia. Very nice combination. Don't forget, Liz Loves gets you a month free on Beauty Pie. So all the links are on Instagram Linktree or on the Liz Love section. I hope you're enjoying the Liz Love section of the Liz Earle Wellbeing website, because we've just kind of expanded that. And any of you on Instagram who saw my post yesterday, it's very much trying to find small brands, often niche brands, doing interesting things that you might not have heard about before. British, often founder-led brands, very often female founder-led brands, who have had difficult times. You know, these last months have been very, very difficult for smaller businesses. I know I've had to rework my own business here with the magazine. So it's just really lovely to be able to shout out to these brands, give them another platform basically to talk about, and very often in return they give us a Liz Loves code. It doesn't always happen, sometimes they can't afford to do that, and that's fair enough. We still mention them, but sometimes they're able to give us a Liz Loves, which is just great. So talking about changing brands and changing the way we do things, that leads me on to the Liz Earle Wellbeing magazine, because today is pretty much the last chance to order if you are not a subscriber, and that's because we have just finished putting the final touches to the new edition, which will come out in just a couple of weeks' time, beginning of September. How can that be? How can we be? I mean, you know, September is all about kind of back to school, hopefully, and, you know, autumn, falling leaves, conkers, all of that kind of stuff. So hard to believe, isn't it? But it will be upon us very, very soon. So we have to go to press a couple of weeks before we're actually able to ship and distribute, obviously. So that means that because we're coming out of retail, so you're not going to be able to find the magazine in the shops anymore, but we are still printing it. Fingers crossed, as long as we have the subscribers, we will print it. And so it will come direct to you. But we are pushing the button on the number of copies that we print later on today or possibly tomorrow. So that means it'll make us much more sustainable, because one of the problems with being in retail as a magazine is that you have to overprint. You know, some of the big retailers, even some of the ones who say they behave ethically, I'm not going to mention any names, but some of the big guys that we supply make us print sometimes tens of thousands more magazines that they know they're going to sell, just because they want to have them in their stockroom, you know, just in case. And then, of course, when the magazine comes off sale, it's gone out of date, and they just pulp them, and it's heartbreaking. You know, it really is. As somebody who's kind of created it and paid for every copy to be printed. So that's one of the reasons why we're coming out of retail. There's all sorts of other environmental reasons as well. When you think about all the distribution lorries that transport these huge bundles of magazines and things all over the countryside, everything has to be bulk wrapped in that thick plastic that can't get recycled. So, you know, it's just not sustainable, and it has always, to be honest, sat slightly uncomfortably with me, but it's kind of a necessary evil in some ways, that you want people to be able to see what you're doing. And it's been very useful over the last couple of years, because people have gone, oh, look, there's a magazine, and they've tried it, and then hopefully they've subscribed. But now we have actually made the decision, because when lockdown first happened, it was catastrophic because nobody was able to buy magazines. You know, the very few supermarkets were open, and the ones that were obviously focusing on essentials like food and loo rolls. And so, you know, so we lost a huge amount with that. And that was a kind of a catalyst really for having a big discussion. And at one point, if I'm really honest with you, we thought, are we going to have to stop? You know, we're going to have to close the magazine, which I think would be heartbreaking. I mean, for me personally, but hopefully a lot of other people would miss it as well. And I love the fact that we're in print, and I love the fact that we're online as well. I hope you've all got your free month with Readly, because having a digital edition is great. It's lovely to have it in your pocket, in your phone, if you want to check a recipe or check back on something last year, or you're out and about and you just, you know, you're in a waiting room, or you're travelling or something and you haven't got your magazines with you. You've got it there always on your iPad or your phone, which is great. But there's something very tangible, isn't there, very permanent about having something that's real. You know, it gets us off the screen, bit of sofa time, put your feet up with a nice magazine. And I go back to my magazines, and I know you do as well, and read and reread and pick up features that we wrote a year or two ago and think, gosh, I'd forgotten about that. That's really interesting. And obviously all the recipes as well. So this is the last one in retail. She'll have to have, I don't know, what do you have, like a kind of a Viking send-off? I have to get a little boat or something and send off the copies into a flaming sunset. Or maybe not. Anyway, so this one with all the cover lines and everything won't be on sale anymore. So if you have not yet subscribed and you'd like to get the September issue, you really do need to be on the list, as they say. If you're not on the list, you're not coming in. So I'm just checking this, making sure it is there. So this is the subscriber cover And so this will be the lovely calm cover that will come to everybody. So basically, as an incentive and as a thank you, we are subscribing with a saving. So hopefully for everybody it'll work better. You know, it'll work better for us as a business. It'll make us more sustainable. It'll make us nimbler, not so much beholden to the big supermarket giants and the big retailers. You know, we will control our own destiny, which is always important for any business. So we can offer 6 issues for the price of 5, so you get a single issue free, plus free UK P&P. So, you know, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? You save money and it gets delivered to your door. So, you know, I know some people go to the shops and it's sold out or whatever, so hopefully that will work for everybody. And just for now, so literally we're just talking for the next few days really, you will also get your £10 Neil's Yard voucher. I think we're well over half have already gone, but there are some left. So if you'd like to take advantage of that, you get £10 off anything to spend at Neil's Yard. So any of their lovely wild rose products, which I talked about before, their lovely essential oils, their lavender oil, which I think is £9.50 for their pure organic essential oil, so you get that free. Now the way that works, by the way, is you don't get the voucher with the magazine, so don't expect a voucher to kind of drop out when you get your magazine. They email it. So Warners, who are the company that do our magazine subscriptions, they will email you. So once they take your first bank payment, that triggers the process from the lovely team at Warners, and thank you for looking after all our subscribers so well, so much better than the last company that we sacked last year for being completely hopeless. But Warners are great, so thank you to all of you who are working so hard. I know you're all remote working from home, handling all the customer questions and subscriptions, so we are really very, very grateful. So the voucher for your £10 off Neil's Yard will come direct from Warner's subscriptions once your first payment has cleared. So just to let you know that. Right, before I go, I have some messages and some questions, which I shall read out. This was something, Silver on Instagram. I've been looking at some of the comments, and I know that you've not been so well and you've had some hospital visits. And I know that you're such a pillar of our Instagram community. So I just wanted to say a special shout out to you, and I hope that you are feeling better, and I hope that all goes well. I'm wishing you a speedy recovery, and thank you for being part of our community. This is a question from Julie on Instagram, who says, I'd like to know if you can suggest a good probiotic supplement, please. I'm doing organic yogurt, looking at other ways rather than my GP prescribing pills for IBS. Yeah, absolutely. Really, really good. And I hope you've got my Good Gut box, because that's full of great probiotics. I'll be talking a bit more about that on Friday. Fermenting Friday, of course. Fashion Friday, Fermenting Friday, Floral Friday, lots of things to look forward to on Friday. So probiotic supplements, I hope you downloaded my e-guide. It was free all last month, and I know so many of you did, like 10,000 or something. It was crazy, but fantastic, you got it all free, so well done. It's now $4.99, which is the normal price of the e-guides, and that's called A Flatter, Happier Tum. And that has a list of the probiotic supplements that I particularly like. So I talk about things like BioCult and OptiBac, and there are lots in there. We've also got details online, so do hop over to Earle Wellbeing and have a little look if you just pop in probiotics. And then if you were with me, when was Lily here? Was it last week? I think it was last Friday, wasn't it? We were talking about fermented foods and histamine and migraine, because obviously you've got to be careful with that. There are even some probiotics that you can take if you are histamine intolerant. You just need to know specifically the ones. Okay, so if that affects you, go over and have a look at the feature on lizellwellbeing.com, which is all about histamine intolerance. Lots of conversations about that. That is so fascinating. And an update on Lily. Yeah, she is, slowly beginning to see an improvement. I saw her last night, and I said, how are you, how are things going, do you feel any better? And it's awful, isn't it, as a mum, because you don't want to kind of put pressure on them to go, well, no, I'm not actually, and then you make it worse. So we're treading quite carefully. And she said, I do think I feel maybe 3% improvement. I said, great, let's take that. At least it's not worse, which it has been in the past. She's gone backwards. At least it's not staying the same. At least there is a little, step by step, slowly. So the low histamine diet is obviously part of her treatment for the long-term migraine. But I digress. Julie, coming back to talking about IBS, there's a very good podcast also on Wellbeing, which I did with a dietitian called Lara Tilt. And if you look that up, IBS, she talks all about IBS and how to treat it through diet and probiotics. It's really, really interesting. So I hope that's helpful for you. This one is Saslamraja, hope I've said that correctly, on Instagram, also saying, "Hi Liz, can you share your recipe for apple cider vinegar?" Yes, I can. Very easy. Honestly, you never need to buy apple cider vinegar again. You can make it. I've got, where have I got? Somewhere. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is my Good Gut Guide book. This is kind of the start of my Good Gut Guide writing, my gut health journey, a couple of years ago. Well, it must be more than that actually, it's probably about 4 years ago now. And in here, lots and lots of recipes. And there is one, here we go, apple cider vinegar, step by step. There we go. If you've got this book, by the way, it's on page 102. Otherwise, I shall share it with you now. It is basically super easy. It's apples and water with a little bit of honey. So this calls for 3 organic apples, and it's good to have organic because you're going to put them in a jar with their skins. So you need to make sure they're either kind of homegrown or from a friend who's got an apple tree, or organic. And 2 tablespoons of raw honey, so that's the proper honey, not blended honey, but a lovely honey that comes from a local producer, or at least is somewhere that says where it's from. It's not just a blend of glucose syrups and things. And then about half a litre of filtered water. And then literally what you do is you chop up your apples, you put everything in a sterilised jar that you've got here. You fill it with water, add the honey, stir well, and then you cover it with a cloth so it can breathe, and you leave it. And you leave it for about 2 weeks. When you begin to see it bubble, begin to see it ferment, give it a little stir with a wooden spoon, and then you can keep it fermenting for another week or so, and then you take the apples out, and then you leave it in a jar again. And I've got one that's on the go at the farm, and that's about 8 weeks old now, my apple cider vinegar. It's not quite vinegary enough. It gets sharper and stronger the more it ferments. So there you go. Yeah, you asked. I've given you the information. Hopefully you will make your own. Let me know. And the last question here, also, this is from Sarah, also on Instagram, says, "Can I ask the shelf life of your Good Gut box? Just wondering if I buy it before my holiday, will it still be okay to use in, say, 3 weeks' time?" Yes, so everything comes sealed and is not obviously fermenting, because you need to do the fermentation bit. So yeah, no problem. I mean, I would say if it's super hot, pop the box in the fridge. It's only a small little box like that. If you can, just pop it in the fridge and then do it when you get back, or order it when you come back. I would say that there's been a real run on the boxes, and they're currently running at about a week's lead time. So if you have ordered yours, great, because you've got your order in, but they're actually growing more scobies and doing all of those things that they need to fulfill the boxes. So they are coming, but I think they were slightly taken aback by the response, because it has been super popular. And I love my creme fraiche. Anybody made the creme fraiche? I had mine at the weekend. I had mine with berries, and you saw me making it here, I think, on Friday. It only takes 24 hours. And then I must remember, actually, note to self, to save a bit, so I can then go on and make the next batch, like when you make yoghurt. And I'm just loving it. And it's all my little glass jars in the fridge, no more single-use plastic. It's really good. Anyway, I think that is about it for today. Thank you very much for Facebook, for hopping onto Instagram. I'm so sorry that we had an issue. Hi, Harry. Nice to have you with me. Hi, Abigail. Hi, Sarah. Oh, you're so welcome. I'm very glad that I could answer your question. Lots of comments here about damp cloths. Yeah, I think I could do with a damp cloth right now too. But I'm not going to have a damp cloth. I'm actually going to go and have my lunch. Look. Yes, even these delicious eggs, which are cold, but so good. like an egg salad. I'm going to put a little bit more of that Weed and Wonderful. Don't forget, this is my favourite, the intense smoked seaweed. And Liz Loves gets you 25% off everything on Seaweed & Co website. Just so pretty, I love it. And I'm looking forward to podcasting with Dr. Seaweed. So that'll be Friday. I'll also be back with you live Friday. I will be down on the farm. Not quite sure what we're going to be doing just yet, but I'm sure it will involve lots of Fs in terms of fermenting and fashion and florals, and maybe a few other Fs along the way. We'll see. Anyway, I'm sending you lots of love. Thank you for being with me, and have a lovely rest of the day. See you very soon. Bye.